And now here comes a topic in Taylor Swift that I think both of you are on some level already exasperated by, if you're like me.
I'm over it. I'm so over it. The manufactured relationship between Kelce and Swift.
Oh, here
watching the commercials play, finding out that it's like a press release when she's going to be at a game, as though that's a big deal, and chest bumping with his mom, and then it's too much. But the business, that's where I get brought back in. It's really good business.
Well, it's the same as the Deion Sanders matter, right, which we talked about before. The big deal is because it's good for the broadcasters. It's good for the teams. This is good for the NFL. This is good for Travis Kelce, primarily, it seems.
No doubt.
Good for attracting more and more followers, and I'm assuming it's good for her to promote her new movie.
I mean, the incentives are clear for everybody, it seems. Travis Kelce has a podcast. Travis Kelce has a jersey. Taylor Swift has all of these businesses, movies, albums, all of that. 100 million Spotify monthly subscribers already. What's interesting to me, though, John, is that the NFL, I would have imagined, once upon a time, was maybe above genuflecting because they are the monoculture.
Well, you could make the argument they're least in need of this boost. So classic, as is classic always, the people who need the help the least get the most.
The American way.
It's the
There
American
it is.
way.
Took 3 minutes for John's political views to come out.
For old socialist John Skipper.
Amazing.
But having said that, it doesn't exasperate me at all. It seems the natural of order things. Perhaps they're actually romantically entangled, and that's a lovely thing. I could use that as the thing I love at the end of this of today's broadcast.
A socialist and a romantic.
A socialist. By the way, aren't those the same thing? By the way, a socialist
Only in
and
your
a
mind.
Truly. That's what Das Kapital was about, actually. Yeah.
How culpable is the NFL in attempting, or all of us, this is what I was thinking about this. We're all trying to be viral. We're all trying to have a shooting star. Deion Sanders was a shooting star. Took advantage of it, lost a game, and now I haven't read one thing about Deion Sanders recently, so now it's Taylor Swift. I think she has more staying power, and so will this relationship of convenience have to last? Does it last through the season? Do they do it only to week 8, to the bye week? Because at what point does NFL get every dime out of this that they possibly can? Because you can't keep at this frenetic pace during the course of a full season.
Well, I'm not sure. I suspect that every game she attends, they will have the Taylor Swift cam, and we'll get to see her about every other minute and what she's doing. And if that's entertainment, I think it really speaks to the fact that these games are more and more entertainment, right? I mean, if you go to an NBA game now, it is music and dancing and contests and shooting T-shirts into the crowd. So there's the feeling that you always need to entertain people. And one way you can entertain them is Taylor Swift showed up. And you can't afford to go to a concert, but you can watch her on television.
That's two different things. The in-game entertainment is for the people who buy tickets. Everyone who goes to the Chiefs-Jets game, how many people had access to seeing Taylor Swift? And so I viewed this as a TV play more than an in-stadium
No
play.
question. Though I'm sure they showed her on the big board, and I'm sure that made people feel they were at a special place. It's good for everybody. It doesn't bother me. I don't think it takes away from watching a football game. By the way, you got plenty of time. They're playing every 5 seconds, every 40 seconds. You have 35 seconds. You can show the huddle.
Yeah.
You can show the third or fourth replay, or you can show Taylor Swift. Show Taylor Swift. It's great.
Right. There's that Wall Street Journal article that summarized the total amount of actual action in an NFL game. Now one could reasonably wonder, are we seeing more Taylor Swift than actual action on a field? But beyond the crackling energy of, oh my God, the VIP of VIPs is here tonight. I want to watch this / be there to take advantage of my ability to, I don't know, post an Instagram story myself about this. There's the question of who they want posting those Instagram stories, right? This is not just a raw tonnage play. This is a demographic play, is it not?
No one's talking about that, and it's something that I'm comfortable to answer, but it's an uncomfortable answer. Taylor Swift brings a demographic. She is what I would call, and not racially, but vanilla. There's no controversy around Taylor Swift. She doesn't have, it's not Kim Kardashian. There's no worry about relationships, about arrests.
You can literally take her home to mom.
Which is exactly why Kelce's mom's involved. Kelce's involved. It is a perfect person for the NFL to go after the last frontier for them, which is increasing the demographic of women And it's been proven to happen these last 2 times she's been to a game. More women are watching. More women are engaging with football. And if I'm Roger Goodell, I am smiling because I want that demographic because, A, it distracts from some of the negative stuff that goes on with the NFL, domestic violence, some of the CTE issues. Hey, we're Taylor Swift. We're about dancing and pop or whatever she is.
There's almost nothing negative at associating yourself right now with Taylor Swift. And that's what they're doing. Smart. I don't think it bothers anybody. I think, in fact, most people probably think it's kind of amusing and fun. I'm sure there are a few curmudgeons who would not like to see Taylor Swift 30 times a game.
We just heard from one, in fact.
But they're monetizing it. So I'm all in. I'm a curmudgeon that I don't want to see her 30 times a game. But I love that the NFL is getting this demographic and then monetizing it. Because my view of women, and as NFL fans, you need them. Because they're in charge of whether or not their kids play football as kids. They're in charge of whether they're a pain and they don't want their husbands to watch NFL games or engage or go to NFL games. It was always my dream running a team to have women go to baseball games and watch baseball games because it's one fewer argument that men have to not engage with my products.
Yeah. You also, I'll give you a number, 273 million Instagram followers. So increasingly in sports, what we hear about is how many followers people have. This is marketing. She has 273 million people. She puts it on her Instagram. All those people see she was in an NFL game. It's spectacular free marketing for the NFL.
Has she done that? Do we know for sure? I don't follow her, so I'm one of the few people in the world who do not. Has she been posting like her a
Not
selfie?
in the way that the NFL has been, where the NFL is changing its bio on social media to talk about how they too are Swifties, basically, infuriating every sports fan that sees, if you're a Jet fan, for instance, who sees these games not as, I don't know, the red carpet at the Emmys or the Academy Awards, but an actual game that they care about. But I want to get to the cynicism behind the scenes of all of this, David, because the idea of Taylor Swift being Roger Goodell's manna from heaven, right? Even absent the whole idea of him atoning for, like, the Ray Rice scandal on some level, right? Tell me about what it's like when a player of yours starts dating a celebrity.
Oh, we love that. We play that up. We'll find out when players are doing it because we get the pass list. So what players have to do to get tickets is they go to the traveling secretary. The traveling secretary has a block of tickets. They used to be paper
I just think of
tickets.
Costanza. I'm sorry.
He's the assistant to the traveling secretary. This is
I
the
stand
actual
corrected.
traveling secretary. This is Costanza's boss's boss. And there are different sections in the ballpark. There's a family section. Then there's a girlfriend section. And so what the traveling secretary has to get from the player is, where do you want this person? Because sometimes you don't want them in the family section. But then we get involved because we look at the list and say, you're bringing Alyssa Milano. All right, we want her not in the family section or the girlfriend section. We're going to put her right within camera of the center field camera. Or we're going to put her in the owner's seats. Then, if we find out that the player has moved on, we encourage other players to date the same person so there can be continuity of celebrity, which we accomplished. It's like matchmaker, make me a match. We love it because we want to be able to keep the gig going. Anything that's celebrity, we want to attach ourselves to because it makes us cool. And I feel that's what Roger Goodell is doing here.
Yeah, the only thing I would say is I don't think this happened as some master plan in the NFL office. I assume that Travis Kelce is actually going out with her.
Oh, you romantic.
And she's coming to the
You
game.
old romantic.
I don't assume that.
You think there's a contract somewhere between Travis and Taylor? Help me out here with my Instagram followers. And Roger Goodell is...
Has there ever been a couple in your mind where there's been a contract where the result of that couple is monetization and it's not love?
In my personal life...
Well, how about that you've experienced?
It's all about love.
Okay.
It's all about love.
I hear you, but...
Same, for the record.
Do you really need to do that? Okay, I'll say it. All of Tom Cruise's relationships, and don't stop smiling, but you understand why studios do that.
Yes.
Tom Cruise goes from relationship to relationship.
No, I feel you completely. No,
this
look,
is a real thing that happens.
The idea that love can come in 4 quadrants is the most American ideal as well, right? Like, hey, it's not merely that we're selling the story. It's that we, as David has now celebrated repeatedly, we're now monetizing this for ourselves. Which, again, to the extent that this is real, it seems undeniable, at least, that the incentives are real and algorithmic.
Everything is algorithmic. Everything. If you don't sit in your
I'm
boardroom,
assuming.
you know,
that
it's
this is,
fun.
I'm just
I'm
assuming.
gathering you here today.
I just
to
assume
celebrate.
that this is all happening in the Matrix, and that for some reason somebody has decided they should be together in some
I love
other
that you
universe.
found God, John. I really do, because to me, when you were running ESPN, you have to be thinking this way. And now you get to Meadowlark, and you're this. Oh, I love everybody, and I think they really do care about each other.
When I was at ESPN, I was discouraging coupling. Just to be fair, I was discouraging coupling in the workplace environment.
I do love David.
Duly
though.
noted.
David, what David is saying though, which is so funny to me and should have been a Seinfeld like arc, is the idea of you guys encouraging, like, truly, like saying, "Hey, doesn't she look nice?"
So we would let the players know which celebrities were coming to which game, and then the players would. I don't want to say they would sign up because that sounds horrible, but there were certain players who would want to meet certain celebrities who were coming, and we would foment that meeting because it would be in our best interest to have a love connection.
I don't know. The verb foment.
I was going to say he's a fomenter.
He's a fomenter. The classic fomenter.
He's like Moses Malone, foe, and foe. He's fomenting, and fomenting.
I wear that, and I'm not ashamed of that. And yeah, okay.